No teaching this time. This is a rapid-fire exam drill for Domain 4 Network Security, the biggest single slice of your CC paper. 12 questions straight through, covering layers and addresses, ports, transport, threats, and defenses. Pause on each one, commit to an answer, then check yourself against mine. Here is your benchmark. If you get 10 of these 12, this domain is solid. Fewer than that, and I will tell you at the end exactly which lessons to revisit. Let's go. Question 1. You are placing network functions onto the OSI model. At which layer does a router make its forwarding decision, using IP addresses to move a packet from one network to another? A. Layer 2, data link. B. Layer 4, transport. C. Layer 3, network. D. Layer 1, physical. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is C. Layer 3, the network layer. Here is why. IP addresses and routing between networks live at layer 3, so that is where a router decides where a packet goes next. A is wrong, because layer 2, data link, handles MAC addresses inside one local network only. B is wrong, because layer 4, transport, is where TCP and UDP live, not routing. D is wrong, because layer 1, physical, is just cables and signals with no addressing at all. Remember the order. Please do not throw sausage pizza away. Layer 1 physical, up to layer 7 application. Question 2. The OSI model is the 7-layer textbook map, but the internet actually runs on a simpler model. How many layers does the TCP over IP model have? A. 7, B. 4, C. 5, D. 6. Ready? The answer is B. 4. Here is why. TCP over IP collapses the 7 OSI layers into 4: application, transport, internet, and link. A is wrong, because 7 is the OSI count, not the TCP over IP count. C is wrong, because 5 is not the layer count of either model. D is wrong, because 6 is not either model's count either. Quick reset. OSI has 7 layers. TCP over IP has 4. Now, ports. Question 3. A public web server needs to accept secure, encrypted browser traffic from the internet. Which port must be open? A. Port 443. B. Port 80. C. Port 22. D. Port 53. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is A. Port 443. Here is why. HTTPS, secure encrypted web traffic, listens on port 443. B is wrong, because port 80 is plain HTTP, unencrypted web pages. C is wrong, because port 22 is SSH for secure remote login, not web browsing. D is wrong, because port 53 is DNS, the internet's phone book. Watch the secure versus insecure pairs. 443 beats 80, and 22 beats 23. Question 4. A security audit flags a service that gives remote command line login, but sends everything, including passwords, in plain text with no encryption. Which protocol and port is being described? A. SSH on port 22. B. HTTPS on port 443. C. RDP on port 3389. D. Telnet on port 23. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is D. Telnet on port 23. Here is why. Telnet does remote login on port 23 with no encryption, so credentials travel in plain text. A is wrong, because SSH on port 22 does the same job but encrypted. B is wrong, because HTTPS is encrypted web traffic, not remote login. C is wrong, because RDP is the Windows remote screen, not the plaintext login service described. From the doors to how the data actually travels. Next, transport. Question 5. An engineer is choosing a transport protocol for a live video call, where speed matters more than resending the odd lost frame. Which should they pick, and why? A. TCP, because it sets up a connection and confirms every delivery. B. UDP, because it is fast and connectionless, with no setup and no resending. C. TCP, because it is connectionless and never resends. D. UDP, because it guarantees every packet arrives in order. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is B. UDP, because it is fast and connectionless. Here is why. UDP skips the handshake and the resending, which is exactly what you want for live media, where a dropped frame matters less than delay. A is wrong because TCP setup and resending add the delay you are trying to avoid. C is wrong because it mislabels TCP as connectionless when that is actually UDP. D is wrong because UDP makes no delivery or ordering guarantee. That is TCP's job. Remember the anchor. TCP is a phone call. UDP is a postcard. Now, the threats. Question 6. A piece of malware is spreading across the company network on its own, copying itself from machine to machine, with nobody opening a file or clicking anything. Which type is it? A. A Trojan. B. A virus. C. A worm. D. Ransomware. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is C. A worm. Here is why. A worm copies itself across the network with no human action, which is why worms spread so fast. A is wrong because a Trojan hides inside something you install yourself. B is wrong because a virus only spreads when a human runs the infected file. D is wrong because ransomware encrypts files for payment. It does not self-replicate across the network to spread. Keep them straight. A virus needs a ride. A worm drives itself. Question 7. An employee downloads what looks like a free productivity tool. It installs and works as promised, but quietly opens a backdoor for an attacker. What kind of malware is this? A. A Trojan. B. Ransomware. C. A worm. D. A denial of service attack. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is A. A Trojan. Here is why. A Trojan disguises itself as something you want and hides its malicious payload inside. So you install it yourself, believing it is safe. B is wrong because ransomware would encrypt your files and demand payment, not sit quietly. C is wrong because a worm self-replicates across the network rather than posing as a handy tool. D is wrong because denial of service is not malware you install. It floods a service with traffic. And the pair that catches people, a Trojan wears a disguise. Ransomware takes a hostage. Question 8. An attacker secretly positions themselves between two employees, silently reading their messages and altering some before passing them on. Neither employee suspects a thing. Which attack is this? A. A distributed denial of service. B. Phishing. C. Spoofing. D. An on-path or man-in-the-middle attack. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is D. An on-path or man-in-the-middle attack. Here is why. The attacker sits between the two parties, reading and changing traffic in transit, which breaks confidentiality and integrity at once. A is wrong because nothing was flooded or knocked offline. B is wrong because phishing tricks a human into clicking. It does not intercept a live conversation. C is wrong because spoofing fakes an identity, which may start an attack but is not the interception itself. The tell for on-path is the phrase between two parties or intercepts traffic. Question 9. A company's website is knocked offline by a flood of traffic from thousands of hijacked machines at once. Nothing is stolen and nothing is altered. Which attack is this and which CIA pillar does it break? A. A virus, breaking integrity. B. A distributed denial of service, breaking availability. C. An insider threat, breaking confidentiality. D. An on-path attack, breaking integrity. Ready? The answer is B. A distributed denial of service, breaking availability. Here is why. Thousands of hijacked machines, a botnet, flooding a service until real users cannot get through is a distributed denial of service, and it takes down availability. A is wrong because a virus alters or infects files. It does not flood traffic. C is wrong because an insider abuses trusted access, and nothing here points to an employee. D is wrong because an on-path attack intercepts traffic quietly. It does not knock a site offline. Denial of service steals nothing and changes nothing. It just takes availability down. Now, defenses. Question 10. A network device inspects every packet trying to enter or leave, and allows or denies it based on its address, port, and protocol, matched against a set of rules. Which device is this? A. An IDS. B. A VPN. C. A firewall. D, a DMZ? Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is C, a firewall. Here is why. A firewall filters traffic against a rulebook, permitting or denying by address, port, and protocol. A is wrong, because an IDS watches for attack patterns and alerts. It is not the rule-based gatekeeper. B is wrong, because a VPN encrypts a connection. It does not filter by rules. D is wrong, because a DMZ is a buffer zone in a network layout, not a device that inspects packets. Stack your defenses, layers like an onion. An attacker has to cry through every one. But which layer only alerts, and which one blocks? Question 11. A team wants a device that will watch for malicious traffic and raise an alert for analysts, but must never drop or block traffic itself to avoid any risk of interrupting the business. Which should they deploy? A, an IDS. B, an IPS. C, a firewall set to default deny. D, network access control. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready. The answer is A, an IDS. Here is why. An IDS detects and alerts only, which is exactly the passive, non-blocking behavior they asked for. B is wrong, because an IPS blocks traffic, which is precisely what they want to avoid. C is wrong, because a default deny firewall actively blocks and does not analyze for attack patterns. D is wrong, because network access control vets devices before they join. It is not a traffic alerting monitor. Remember, the IDS is a smoke alarm. The IPS is a sprinkler. Question 12. A security architect designs a network on the principle never trust, always verify. Every request must prove itself every time, whether it comes from inside the network or outside, and there is no trusted interior. Which model is this? A, defense in depth. B, a DMZ. C, network segmentation. D, zero trust. Pause the video and pick your answer. Ready? The answer is D, zero trust. Here's why. Zero trust assumes the wall is already breached and verifies every request every time, inside or outside, with no free pass for the interior. A is wrong, because defense in depth layers many controls but still tends to trust the inside once you are through. B is wrong, because a DMZ is a single buffer zone for public-facing servers, not a whole trust model. C is wrong, because segmentation isolates zones to contain a breach, but does not verify every individual request. That is domain 4. Done. Let us score it 10 or more out of 12, and network security is genuinely solid. You are ready to trust it on exam day. 8 or 9? Close, but tighten the gaps. 7 or fewer? Do not panic, but go back and re-watch lessons 11 to 14 before you move on. This is nearly a quarter of your paper, so it is worth getting right. Whatever you scored, the fastest way to make these reflexes is volume. Head to certcrush.app, where the CC question bank has stacks of domain 4 questions on layers, ports, threats, and defenses waiting to drill you. Next up, the confusable pairs round. The classic exam traps. DAC versus MAC. Hashing versus encryption. IDS versus IPS. All in one drill.